So, is Mr. Raul Tan here?
Yes.
Will you come to the... What is your position in the bank again, Mr. Tan?
I'm presently the treasurer of RCBC, sir.
Who is the one in charge of your settlement division?
I believe it is Mr. Beng Eco.
Huh?
Beng Eco.
Now, when the money in question arrived in your bank on February 5, did you know about it?
With all due respect, we cannot speak on that as we are covered by bank secrecy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, can I rephrase the
Answer.
question? Hypothetically, when there's an inward remittance for certain accounts, does it go straight to the account to a branch, or does it pass through, let's say, the head office, the treasury, or a settlement account, or any of the two?
Your Honor, it goes straight. It's not physical cash that's
Yes.
brought to our
Yes,
head office
yes,
and then brought
yes.
to the branch. It's a straight-through processing.
It's a straight-through processing.
There's a virtual branch in our head office, so it goes to the branch. It goes straight to the account.
It goes straight to the account.
To the account, yes.
There is no human intervention.
None.
No human intervention.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question, if I may? On that.
Senator,
Just if I may finish, no? Is that the practice in all banks or just in RCBC?
I believe so, sir, in all banks.
Could we confirm with, let's say, East West Bank, President Mongcopa?
Your Honor, I think each bank would probably have a different approach. The central bank will give us guidelines, but how we execute will not necessarily be the same. Like
So there will be different
There will
protocols.
be different. Like in the specific case of East West Bank, any large remittance goes first in the what you call the settlement section in the operations department, where there would be some oversight, some compliance checking if it's worth checking, and then before it goes.
So
to
in
the-
your case, there is
there is a
manual
gatekeeper.
intervention.
There's a gatekeeper when it comes. There's another gatekeeper when it comes to the branch.
Okay.
Like in our case, the sales function and the operations function are separate. So we do not give the salesperson the authority to decide to credit or not to credit. It is the control person, the operations person, who has the absolute decision to do that. So that's another checkpoint.
Now,
But it's possible that when you have small payment, you could actually distinguish. That could go straight through.
But kung $81 million, in your practice in East West Bank, will it go straight through?
Each bank would have their own threshold of what is substantial and what is normal course that you could let go through. I'd say that in our case, 10 million will be considered to be a substantial amount.
Well,
Dollars.
may I...
Mr.
with your
Senator,
permission,
Your Honor.
My colleague, you do not consider, you consider 81 million substantial,
Yes, Your Honor.
$10 million dollars substantial.
But anything above that is should be
And that was
substantial.
known by the lady RCBC branch manager because she was trained in your bank first before she transferred to RCBC.
We cannot speak for other bank, Your Honor.
No, but well, I'm sure that that culture, banking culture, must have been grilled on the head of Maia De Guito when she was in East West Bank.
Your Honor, if I may please, remember that Maia De Guito spent less than 2 years in East West and more than 3 years in RCBC. The way she does business now, I think East West has got nothing to do with that. I'm not disowning her, but I'm saying each bank would have its own procedure, but 3 years is a long time for somebody to, to adapt to the culture of a bank.
because I heard her say that it's ordinary for her to be transacting that quantum of dollars because she's used to dealing with billions of pesos transactions.
Well, again, Your Honor, I could only speak for my bank, and you know, we are a universal bank, but you know, we consider 10 million to be substantial.
Yeah. CBC, what volume of money would you consider substantial and unusual?
Your Honor, let me expound first on what Attorney Macel mentioned about the straight-through processing. No? The straight-through processing actually involves certain validations before they are actually credited to an account. And basically, it checks the account name, the account number, whether the remittance is actually funded, whether there is a valid sender, whether the reason for the remittance is valid, before these are actually credited to an account. So there is a validation process. Any failure in those 5 elements will not allow a credit to an account, and these are automated in the system.
I come back to my question. Is it true that branch manager De Guito was used to dealing, from your knowledge as a member of RCBC, dealing in billions of transactions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
What threshold would you consider substantial in your banking practice in RCBC?
Well, as I mentioned, the remittance actually are the remittances actually go through a straight-through processing, given the 5 elements of validation. I cannot actually speak of the specific remittance at this point, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
One last. Okay, go
No,
ahead.
just on that point. So you don't have a threshold like East West Bank of $10 million, then it will go to a gatekeeper who will check and validate the transaction.
What we have is, at end of day, after the remittance, there are thresholds internally. And if those thresholds are breached, then our settlements department gives a call to the branch to find out, what is this about? Is this an amount that you're expecting for this account? If the branch validates and says, oh yes, then that pulls through, that lifts the hold.
To your knowledge, attorney, since you're speaking for RCBC, was a phone call made from the settlements division to branch manager De Guito?
You know, Your Honor, I would like to answer, but I cannot, because we cannot speak of the specific accounts covered by bank secrecy.
But this is a regular process of, is this a regular process of RCBC?
It's a regular process that at end of day, the settlements department reviews all the remittances.
Okay. Let me ask branch manager De Guito, did anyone from settlements call you at the end of day to check on this transaction? On February 5? RCBC is saying that because of the huge transaction size, it is the protocol that the settlements division called the branch manager to verify if this is a valid transaction. Did anyone from settlements call you on February 5?
There's no one who called. Instead, I got an email saying that that is a valid remittance.
Yes.
Your Honor, if I may, the settlements department would normally not call directly to the branch manager. There are lines involved. And in cases where it's stated that it's a valid remittance, what they're actually saying would be that the numbers match. the 5 points that are validated in our electronic system have actually...
So in the case of these transactions, they passed the validation of RCBC initially on February 5.
I cannot speak about the specific transactions because of bank secrecy, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, just one last. When the branch received the email regarding the fraudulent transaction, they received an email on February 9. Is that email only seen by the branch manager, or is that email seen across the system of RCBC?
As a rule, the request for freeze is seen by 3 officers in the branch.
Could they have stopped the transaction at their level, or that transaction can only be stopped at the branch level?
As I mentioned earlier, and I will go a little procedural, if it's a freeze order from a court, then the head office, legal department under me, will send out that freeze, and all branches are alerted. If it's a request for freeze, which is not a court order mandating a freeze, then the branch is advised of it, and the branch is supposed to step on the brakes and allow the parties to confer.
Settle.
Because that doesn't give the bank the same rights as a freeze order mandated by a court.
So it is your position that the email that you received was only a request for freeze?
It was a request.
And not a freeze order?
There is a distinction, and I believe there are records already in the public. I do not read anything in the news or in the public that says that it was a court-mandated freeze order.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Enrile?
May I ask the RCBC people, are your branch managers authorized to open accounts with zero balance?
If it's linked. Only in cases, Your Honor, where the account is linked to another account which has the minimum balance.
Pwede.
Only in case, so there has to be another account with a minimum balance of the same account holder, Your Honor.
Now, next question. Are your branch managers authorized to open dollar accounts at a minimum deposit of $500 and remain dormant for some time?
I believe the dormant period is 2 years. Your Honor, the dormant period in our bank is, under our policies, is 2 years. The minimum balance is $500.
Okay. Now, my last question. Are branch managers or your branches authorized to allow the withdrawal of money from their deposit accounts in the branch through pre-signed withdrawal slips presented by a messenger?
No. Your Honor, no.
No. No.
No, Your Honor, it would not pass our compliance and our internal audit.
That is what we heard a while ago, that they are authorized.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you can withdraw money from your bank through a branch with a withdrawal slip pre-signed.
What I meant when I said, yes, Your Honor, yes, I heard it from Ms. De Guito, but no, that is not allowed in our bank procedures.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Senator Recto?
Yeah, just a few questions with Philrem.
Before we go to Philrem, just a few matters. This is addressed to RCBC. Who is Angela Torres?
She is the service customer relations officer that Ms. De Guito brought with her from her prior employment in East West. Senior customer relations officer.
Could you provide the committee with her her address so that we may serve summons to her?
Yes, sir.
And telephone numbers, please.
Okay, we will find it and provide, sir.
Thank you.